Mr. Uwe Wieckenberg, international TVET expert. And if you could kindly tell us, how would you address the topic quality within the framework of career opportunities?
Okay, thank you very much for the invitation and having me here. I've prepared a few slides. Are we able to show these slides?
The mic, can you?
The mic.
Closer? Yes. Turn it on and make it closer so that we can all hear you.
I will be closer to the microphone. Yes. Thank you very much for the invitation and having me here. We prepared a few slides. Is it possible to see the slides now to give you an overview of the framework we are working in this project? And it's a bit more easy to listen if you have a few keywords on the slide to comprehend. Thank you very much. Well, this is not the slide, not it. Okay, good.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So I'm representing this project. The abbreviation is TEREEE. This is Technical Education in Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency. This is a huge project funded by the KfW and European Union, implemented by BOPA Infra on behalf of the Ministry of Education and Technical Education, which is the owner of this project, you can say. We have basically two main components. Component one is the establishment of 3 centers of competence in this sector in renewable energy and energy efficiency. And number 2 is the upgrading and rehabilitation of 20 technical secondary schools. Also looking towards, let's say, energy efficiency. We will have solar panels on the roof and many other new equipment and many other items. In what I'm telling now is more concentrated on component number 1. You can imagine when we have to rehabilitate and when we have to build centers, we have 2 main areas in our project. One is more the infrastructure construction, and the other is the TVET area. And I would like to concentrate on component 1, the establishment of centers of competence. When we think about these centers of competence, we think mainly about these 7 principles, or you can say issues. Number 1, we have heard this already this morning, relevance. For us, relevance is very, very important, especially in these times with the growing speed of the development of economy, of technology, and also education. And we must always have an answer to the question, are we training the competences which are needed in the world of work in the private sector? This is very important. Otherwise, we cannot continue with a strict or strong cooperation with the private sector, who is the final beneficiary of what we are doing besides the students. We also have to take into consideration we call this future skills. Just imagine, we have not started building the centers of competence, and we are speaking about curricula already, about competences, what the students should be able to, should be trained in. And our first graduates probably will come out of this new entity in probably 5 years, 5 or 6 years. What will be needed then in this 6 years? Of course, we don't know. We don't have a clear answer on this as everybody, because the development is very rapid. So we must just take into our consideration and prepare the basis, the foundation for a modern and future-oriented technical education, which we can in this project. Number 2 is quality. We want to have, and we must have, of course, the national accreditation of the entities which are responsible for quality in technical education. We also want to have international accreditation coming from Europe, probably, or coming from the US as well, like ISO for the management system, like some other standards, quality standards in TVET. And we always have to keep in mind that after the funding period, the center must continue. So we have a strong impact regarding sustainability. We want to have a strong impact regarding sustainability. How can we ensure that the center continues after the funding period? And quality is one main issue here. And of course, the relevance in the eyes of the private sector. The third point I'd like to stress is the linkage to the real world of work. In TVET, we always speak about knowledge, skills, and attitude. And knowledge you can train or teach in the school, skills you can teach and train in the workshop. But what is with behavior? And this is our experience, also behavior, very important. You learn this in a better way when you are in a real company, when you work with others together, you learn how to deal with your managers, you learn how to deal with customers, you learn how to deal with your colleagues, and all these important issues in the technical training as well, the attitude. So this means we are not a standalone institution, so this must be embedded in the private sector with a strong cooperation with the private sector, who finally also has a say in what we are doing or what the center is going to implement. Number 4 is the connectivity to higher education. When I came to Egypt many years ago, I learned that TVET at that time did not have a good reputation. In the eyes of many, it was the second best solution. The parents, whenever possible, they would like to have their children in higher education, even when they are jobless after graduation. Yeah. So this is one issue, but this is how it is. And we have to work on this, which is a long-term input to raise the reputation of TVET. And one part is that we open the pathway from TVET to higher education as well. That's why you will see this in the next slide. That's why we always have a link to the labor market after each stage, and also a link to, for instance, universities of technology after our graduating from the Center of Competence after the 2 years. This is one special item to be different from other institutions. We always speak about the 3+2 model. 3+2 means that we have 3 years initial technical training with available competency-based curricula and many specializations, many programs. Then we have a +2 year, 2 years on top for the best ones, for the best graduates of the 3 years. And these 2 years are specialized in renewable energy and energy efficiency in a very deeper sense. And after this examination, after graduation from these 2 years, students or graduates can go to the labor market. We are always in a strong cooperation with the companies of the private sector, or they can join the universities of technology. So this means we think this makes our approach more attractive to many students. Another point is teacher education. For us, this is connected. You cannot separate teacher education from the training, from technical training. That's why we always, or we will have a section of the TVETA in the centers of competence. TVETA is the academy which is responsible for training of technical teachers. This will be part of the center of competence. and the continuous education and continuous further education of our teachers, instructors, and trainers will be also a part of our work, a part of the Center of Competence. Well, no, one back. So point 6 is digitalization. We had some ideas about digitalization in the first contribution here, so I will not. Can we go back to the slides, please? Thank you very much. So we will not, I will not mention this in a deeper sense. I just followed the discussion in Germany the last month regarding artificial intelligence, which is, there's a new magic tool now available, which is called ChatGPT, which is a dialogue tool. You can ask a question and you get a response from the system, from the artificial intelligence, which is not copied and pasted from Google. So, and many teachers and educators are afraid now. When I do assessment, when I do examination, is this coming from the computer or this is our student? So I have to assess the competence of the student. So what do I do? Of course, this is very new. And some teachers go back. No, we go back to paper and pencil examination. Where I'm sure that the source is our student. But I think we have to integrate this artificial intelligence. We cannot avoid, and this must be an integral part of education, especially of technical education. One last word about sustainability, just to finish this list, means we must ensure that the lifespan of the Center of Competence is long after the end of the funding period. So this only is possible, I think, with a very strict cooperation with the private sector. And the private sector is the main stakeholder of the future Center of Competence. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Uwe Wieckenberg.